Happy Friday, everybody. It is time for this week's champion review.
Yes.
We got Jax and Kayle.
Got the Egg Lover and Morgana's sister. Because we don't have a better name for her.
Really quick, we want to go over last week's poll, which was simply, do you guys prefer old fiddlesticks? I know Tyler prefers that laugh. And new fiddlesticks, and 100% said new fiddlesticks, which I agree.
Seriously.
His kit is way better.
It just it makes more sense now. And it's definitely more usable in today's game than old Fiddlesticks was.
Old Fiddlesticks wasn't even scary.
No. I felt like, though, the original champions were designed to be kind of childish in nature.
That's fair. That's fair.
A lot of these champions weren't super scary when they first came out. But today we got the purple dude with the lantern who wishes he had a real weapon.
But I remember, if you listen to the Loreheads episode of Jax, his fucking lantern is like empowered.
Oh, that's
with
right.
Whatever that's the fire that's burning in the top of it is like a super like powerful like ancient magic, whatever the fuck. Like
ancient, of course. It's always ancient.
Well, yeah, he's fucking a millennia of
They're
age
all
or
a
whatever.
millennia old.
So he technically has a real weapon. Like it's some
That's fair.
ancient, I don't know, fucking weirdo.
Jax says it's not real though. So I mean, who am I believing here? Jax or some guy who wrote his lore?
Now the real question is, does he actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eyes, or is that just what his mask looks like?
That is actually a real question, and I don't fucking know the answer to that question, to be honest with you.
We're never gonna know.
No, I don't. I think you're right. I think we'll never know ever.
Well, as usual, he was one of the originals.
Yes.
And man, have they updated his? I'm assuming they've updated his like model, but looking at him, and I just played a game of him last night. Yeah, he does not look that. Did not age well.
Right.
And versus we're gonna talk about Kayle, who got a full on rework, who looks fucking gorgeous like now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jax, my boy.
He's definitely due. Honestly, he's definitely due.
But again, what we're gonna get into is not much has changed.
Yeah.
In his kit, so I'm assuming Riot probably is happy with how he's kind of a bullshit champion. If he gets going, the game's over.
Oh, he's definitely a bullshit champion. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's a bullshit champion.
Helicopter dick, dude. So let's check out his passive and his abilities versus what has changed. And spoiler, not much has changed.
Right.
Since his release. So everyone knows. Yeah, go ahead. What's he do? So people, for the people that don't know,
with his current kit, his passive is actually pretty straightforward. It's basically, if you guys remember the old Ginsu's, that was basically his passive. The more you attack, the faster you get to attack. And I know that sounds really weird, but they put on attack stack. So every time he hits, he gets a stack of what's called Relentless Assault, and it refreshes on each subsequent hit, stacks up to 8 times. They expire one at a time, but one every quarter second. So once you stop attacking, your attack speed starts dropping. But basically what it means is every time you hit someone, your attack speed goes up to 8 times the attack speed at max.
To a max of, I had no idea it was 88% at level 18, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would
Whatever
assume.
Max.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Oh, there we go. 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. 16 is the cap.
Jesus. This is different than his original passives. He had 2 previous passives. So if it was first it was called Weapon Mastery, and he gained 15% bonus AD and 15% AP from the items he purchased.
Holy shit.
So that he was in the past, he was a very good split damage dealer because he could build AP attack speed items, i.e. like Nashor's Tooth or
Gunblade was
was the one most recently that was broken. Feral Flare, when that was around, was broken on him.
I remember playing when Gunblade was still in the game and like Earth was fucking coming around every fucking month. AP Jax was so gross. I mean, this is
yeah.
old. We're talking about, but current Jax, AP Jax, he's mixed damage all the way through. I think.
He is. So after that weapon mastery, that original passive, they change it to equipment mastery. And it says here, Jax's prowess with weapons and armor increases his fortitude, gaining 300 per 100 AD and 200 per 100 AP bonus health when purchasing items. So they said, okay. We can't give him damage, but he needs something, so we're going to give him health to make him kind of bruisery, tankier as someone who builds damage. So if you had your 100 AD, which is pretty common with Jax, you had
300 HP.
Yeah, and you would basically, I mean, that's a champion you get almost to 300 AD, I believe, in the even in his later states with the items that existed. So you're looking at almost a Warmog's worth of health just from building damage items.
That's so weird. That was such a big. I mean, obviously, and when we get to the alt, which I have my issues with the current alt, but like, they really were stuck on the, oh, let's just give him bonuses for the damage he builds.
Yeah, I think part of that has to do with his gameplay, though. He's like a jump on you and try to like blow you up kind of champion if he can. He's more of a fighter than he is a bruiser, but he kind of builds like an off bruiser build, if that makes sense. Like he's more of a bruiser than Yasuo, and less of a fighter than Yasuo, but he's less of a bruiser than someone like a Darius or an Urgot, if that makes sense.
Every time I think of bruiser, like if you're building Trinity Force, like you're like, okay, Trinity Force. If you I don't think Jax, I wouldn't build Jax with Sterix Gauge. Maybe earlier in like earlier seasons, maybe. I think Death Dance is really OP too.
DD
so I think like
Triforce
into DD is really good. But and then they just give him. Damn! Imagine if they had this still.
Right.
But they basically put the idea of giving him extra bonuses per AD and AP to his alt, which is what we have now.
We'll come up on that one in a minute, because when we compare to the old one, I think it'll make a little bit more sense.
What's crazy too is his Q and W are exactly the same.
Right.
No changes.
Right. His Q exactly. Yeah.
Q and W. I mean, basically, Q is a dash or jump.
Yeah, it's the leap.
Bullshit jump. And then W is the empowered auto attack.
But he can with his leap, you can target friendlies, enemies, neutrals,
and wards.
Excuse me.
Damn, that's bullshit, dude.
Yeah, and then of course, like you said, his W is just an auto attack reset, and the only thing you need to know about it is it does not apply to structures, nor will it be consumed against them.
Yeah, that's what I was playing Jax last night. I'm like, bam, yeah, maybe that might just make him too OP.
It could be.
Because that's a really, anytime, you have a Trundle, you have your Rainguard now that can, like,
use a skill on a turret.
An empowered, yeah, exactly. You use an empowered, it's basically an empowered auto attack to deal damage to a turret. The fucking turret's going bye-bye.
Right. And actually, you do see that there's, even Senna's kind of like that. She has a slightly empowered, with her Q. It's a little bit stronger than an auto attack, and it's an auto attack reset for her too. So, yeah, so I think not letting him do that on a tower is actually probably really good. The other thing that the W does that I think is forgotten about is if it's used on a basic attack. So instead of using it with the leap strike, if you just normally use it, you get an extra 50 bonus range.
Yeah, I mean 50 is not that, but I mean, if you need to hit that motherfucker in the ass.
Yeah, it could be one of those, like, I can't quite catch him, and he's a little too far to jump, so I get that extra 50 range, and boom. But
okay, that's the first thing. There's a full ability power, like full magic damage skill.
Yeah.
Scales off 60% AP. We didn't even talk about current Jax Q scales off 100% bonus AD and 60% AP. That's a lot. That's a lot of AP. And that's what I was talking about, like with especially Gunblade.
Yeah.
God, that item was OP. It was It was really good. There's how many champions? I know Katarina. How many there's a handful of champions that have like mixed damage like that, and I feel like it's really hard to itemize against them.
It's extremely difficult.
Because it's like, oh, look at this guy that's building Triforce, and oh, it's all AD, but nope, his fucking W does magic damage. And then, of course, when we get to the R, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, the only thing you can do against that is just build health.
Build health, I think. I mean, just Frozen Heart is just good. I mean, I guess you could. Yeah, Warden's Mail too, just to reduce the damage of attacks. Just something, even though he deals a lot of magic damage, you want to get Ninja Tabi.
Yep. Or steel caps.
You just want to reduce those auto attacks. This guy's gonna fucking whack you in the face with this lamppost.
It's pretty gross. It's pretty gross, really. Like, especially when he's fed, he just annihilates your face. You're like, wow, that was fun gameplay. But since his Q and his W are the same, we'll get to his E. And I do want to give you his old E first, just to hear how stupid this shit is. So it's still called Counter-Strike. That hasn't changed, and the basic premise is still the same, but there's a few changes in it. And so let me read you his old one. Is passively increases Jax's dodge chance by 10 to 18%, based on level of the skill. Upon activation, Jax stuns surrounding enemies for 1 second and deals 80 to 160 plus 60% AP ratio magic damage to them. Enhanced attack lasts for 7 seconds after dodging an attack. So,
wait,
he basically Jax would get innate dodge chance, and that used to be a
rune. It was a
it was a mechanic, right? Is the word I was thinking of. It used to be a mechanic in the game that is no longer in the game. Which did
every champion have like a dodge chance?
I think you had to have a rune, but I think like it was worth taking like a 1% rune, because if you dodge something, you dodge something. It's kind of like crit. Like if you get that crit, great. If you get to dodge an auto attack, that's better than taking an auto attack.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that enhanced attack refers to actually, I don't know. It just says enhanced attack lasts for 7 seconds after dodging an attack. So maybe
if he hit the target that's stunned, does he get a bonus? I don't know what enhanced attack.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. There's not like a good breakdown of that. Right. There's not a good breakdown of it, unfortunately. So it's kind of,
well, it doesn't matter because it's not in the game anymore.
Exactly. Why don't you tell me what his current Counter-Strike does now?
So they changed that dodge chance, like upon leveling as a passive. It is obviously now his fucking active, the first part of it, and is very bullshit. And you see that dude slinging around his dick like that is just gonna fucking fuck you up. And of course, the more targets you dodge, the more damage it goes, up to 100%.
Yeah.
Looks like they also changed the scaling on it too. It used to be a magic damage, and now it's full physical.
That's good.
That's okay. There we go. Yeah, not much else to say. Just the dodge chance just went away, but now it's a guaranteed dodge.
Excuse me. Did you mention the recast ability of it?
To stun?
Basically, you could recast it early if you wanted to, instead of having to wait the full 2 seconds.
You couldn't do that. Oh, extra on our enemies for 1 second. Okay, so before it was, he would only helicopter dick for a second, and now it's up to 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also didn't realize that it actually reduces AoE damage on there.
I didn't know that either.
Champions. I didn't. 25% reduce AoE damage. So I mean, that's still good if you're going into a spellcaster with it, even if you're not gonna do it. And that makes more sense why I see like pros run away while using Counter-Strike, because they're trying to take less damage. So that's actually a nice little mechanic that I didn't know about. But that's his bread and butter skill. That's the one that you go in and just slap people with. That's your all-in skill,
Of course, moving down to his R, which I fucking hate, because like the more AD you build, the more armor you get, the more AP you build, the more magic resistance you get. You are not going to be, in this day and age, you're not going to be building AP on Jax. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like, come on, right? It's got to be something better than this. And I get it. They could. I'm sure they were trying to avoid like just some generic like, oh, upon activation, like I don't know. But the scaling is so weird.
That part's weird, but like I think the power from this ability is all in the passive. It's all
Oh
in the
yeah, that.
passive. Like the active's there. I think the active is designed to be kind of shitty because the power is in the passive, which is kind of OP, really. Uh, Basically, Jax's basic attacks on hit generate a stack of Grandmaster's Might the last 2.5 seconds, which refreshes on subsequent hits and stacks up to 2 times. The third stack consumes them all to deal bonus magic damage.
Oh yeah.
And that's the ones like boop boop, and then that third little bonk that does an extra 100 to 180 plus 70% AP magic damage on hit. Um, and I think that's where the true power, because 100 damage on hit, it's actually a lot.
It's like I'm trying to think of who
Nashor's
was
Jax,
it?
fuck it.
I mean, there's champions like I think old Rek'Sai. Like old Rek'Sai when it had the farm alarm where she would just zoom to one
Oh
of her
yeah,
things.
yeah.
The passive on that was just it gave her attack speed, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is great. Or what the fuck was Tom Kench's original
Oh,
design
Tom Kench would, once he hit level 6, he had a passive to deal
on hit
damage based on his
damage?
health. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, so like stuff like
It wasn't
that
even on hit. I think it was all damage. I think it increased his spell damage and his auto attack damage.
based on how much HP.
Yeah, but then I think they moved that to his passive and dropped the
They
scaling amount.
oh yeah,
But
like that's
that
so
shit was
lazy. It's so lazy.
I guess.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
feel
hate
like
it.
what could they do? What could they do to make Jax? What could they do as art? That's gonna be our fucking question. What should Jax's R be?
I don't know, but I just opened the details tab on here, and I did not realize that the bonus magic damage, though it can be dodged and blocked, it can't miss, which means
Timo,
can't actually counter that. But Shen can.
the third hit passive.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Let's see. The empowered attacks at 2 stacks does not activate against structures and wards, so it's not consuming the stacks.
That would be broken.
Bonus resistances are calculated on cast and will update dynamically every quarter second over the duration. So if you're around maybe somebody that has Locket, you'll get more added to your bonus, but it only recalculates every quarter second. And Spell Shield will only block the bonus damage from the third attack if it's empowered. Interesting.
There's a lot of rules.
There are a lot of rules. He's got a lot of rules because the empowered so I was looking under the leap strike under the Q. Spell shield will block the damage including when empowered. So it looks like empowered is just blocked by a spell shield, which is hard to tell when he's going to use it because it's like on hit,
Right.
you know what I mean? So you're not going to see that. Excuse me, unless you're like Morgana and you have a black shield. Like Sivir's not going to be able to cast anything on it. Nocturne probably is going to have a little bit of a hard time trying to catch that, but like Morgana and Malzahar, it's just going to auto take care of it, you know. Jax's old ultimate is called Relentless Assault.
Just his passive.
Basically, yeah. It's Jax's basic attacks passively grant him 6 to 14% bonus attack speed for a short duration, stacking up to 10 times. Hitting the same unit 2 consecutive times enhances Jax's next basic attack to deal 140 to 210 plus 70 AP bonus magic damage. Upon activation, Jax gains 20, 35, 50 plus dodge chance bonus MR for a short duration.
Weird.
Yeah.
Very weird. It was just magic resist, and why?
I
That's so weird. They had a dodge mechanic in his E and ult.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. That is actually very weird. So you would just ult and then E, and then you're basically not going to get hit because if you're at 18% dodge chance, or no, you don't have to hit E. That's just passive. If you had 18% dodge chance and then 50, you're looking at 68% dodge chance before you even fucking. Oh my god. Ugh. Stop
No. It's
Oh,
scales.
I'm sorry. You're right. It scales the dodge chance. That's weird.
But still, yeah, I know that's a weird mechanic. So you'd have 18, so 50, so yeah, 68%. No, 68 magic resist at level 16.
That's
right?
if you don't have any runes with dodge on it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's so.
Yeah, that's weird. But beyond that, Jax is really the same. He plays the same. His playstyle hasn't changed. Excellent split pusher, a decent team fighter, surprisingly, for a split pusher. He can definitely 3v1. He's that kind of champion. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Anything crazy about him that stands out to you?
I mean, I think he needs a model update.
He really desperate. At least he doesn't have pizza feet, but he definitely needs a model update.
What does he have? 3 toes? Let me see.
2 toes. 3 fingers and 2 toes.
He's on the border of pizza feet.
He is on the border. He does not officially have pizza feet, but yes, he is a borderline pizza foot guy.
I think Udyr was the last pizza feet.
I think
he's getting the rework.
I think so. But the other thing I want to mention about Jax is he does have one of the coolest skins in the game.
Mighty Jax.
Mighty Jax. I feel like if you're not playing with that skin, you're just trolling.
I'd say the only other acceptable answer is Pax Jax because you could show that off.
Right.
So
That's true.
I think that's it for Jax.
Yeah.
And before we get into Kayle, we're gonna take a quick break. All right,
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Time for Kayle.
Now this is a champion that she's gonna take forever to get through.
What was her previous title? Because she's the righteous. What the fuck is she now?
That's a great question. I don't know what Kayle's previous title was. Let's see.
I'm pretty sure it's like the righteous. The righteous. It's literally Kayle the righteous is her current. I'm just curious what her old one was. The Judicar.
Okay.
Judicator.
Whatever.
Okay.
So she's a judge and she's here for justice.
I guess it's kind of the same thing, but not really. Okay.
Right.
So Kayle again, got the big rework a few years ago. Much better. The one thing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If you played old Kayle, you had to use Aetherwing just for the auto attacks.
Yeah.
Because old Kayle was so like robotic with her auto. We'll get into the abilities if you guys don't know how her old kit, because she was 100% melee back then.
Yep.
But her abilities. So.
Right.
All right. Let's do this because it's gonna take a fucking while. She's so different.
She's so drastically different. So you want to start with the new, or you want to start with the old?
Well, let's just refresh everybody if they don't know what Kayle does now.
Okay.
She basically evolves over the game, level 1, 6, 11, and 16. And then passively, she gets attack speed stacking up to 5 times. I don't think we need to go into the nitty grit. It's just she does a bonus attack, kind of like Jax. You keep hitting, you get bonus attack speed. From 1 to 5, she is melee range, which is really fucking brutal.
And she's super fucking weak at levels 1 through 5. In that melee range, she's just like 3 auto attacks from dying.
If you want to win the game, you literally have to just shit on her levels 1 through 5 because she can't do anything.
Right.
And I've played Kayle a lot of times. I played against the Kayle a lot of times, and it just, if you don't, even at level 6, she's a super late game, right? This is one of the champions
out of fucking control.
One of the champions next to Kassadin. Once you hit level 16, I'm pretty sure you just win the game.
Just auto win, pretty much. Yeah. That doesn't count for ARAM, by the way, guys.
So yeah, at level 6, she becomes ranged. At level 11, at max stacks of her passive, she deals AoE damage. And then at level 16, she gains an auto attack range increase and permanently gets exalted, which is the AoE. So again, when she's level 16, it's fucking game over.
Yeah, that shit's fucking broken, and her attacks just do so much more damage.
Let's take a look. What was her old passive?
Yeah, her old passive.
It's so basic. Oh my god.
Holy fervor. Basic attacks and reckoning, which was her Q. Reduce enemy champion's armor and magic resist by 3% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times, up to a maximum of 15%.
Really? I mean, okay, that was kind of OP that it was both. If it was just like magic, that'd be kind of but I guess.
You know what's funny too is we're looking at 2 champions this week that have split damage, like really split damage.
Oh, that's right. Is she? There we go. I was thinking I only mentioned Katarina, I totally forgot that Kayle
Right.
has split damage.
Well, it's funny too because I think back in the day, even though she had split damage, she was primarily an AP champion. You
Oh no,
built
yeah,
AP. In this day and age, with the way the items are in her current kit, you could actually go either, and both work just as good. So I mean, she has some adaptability there. But yeah, her old
yeah,
one, she was definitely AP, and so I still, even when I see her, I'm like, that's an AP champion, even though I know she can build Kraken Slayer and go split or whatever, you know.
a lot of the time, like I've seen them, but they usually people will build a Rage Blade and that
Yep.
converts all that crit to on hit magic. So I mean, it's
Yep.
yeah, I mean, it still has the AD, but
She's on it,
um,
champ.
yeah, I remember playing her. You would just rush Nashor's Tooth and Lichbane, old Lichbane, and
Yeah.
that's all you needed.
Yep.
Those are starting way in the times before Mythic, simpler times.
The simpler times.
Um,
You could tell they're simpler too if you just look at her skill explanations.
oh dog,
Her
the
old skills were like a
what?
sentence, maybe two sentences, and her new skills are paragraphs.
Yeah, her passive is one sentence. Her new passive is like, yeah.
One, two, three, four, five sentences, six sentences. There's five categories in there, so
So let's move on to her Q. Her current Q is basically her old passive. Um, she fires out a, skill shot, and it slows and shreds target's armor and magic resist 15%.
yep.
And I mean that's pretty good, I guess. Well, I mean this is why you can play her. Another reason to play her in the tanks, right? Like obviously, if you any hyper scaling champion gets a free lane against a tank, but if you
Yeah.
have built-in shred,
Yep.
it's a bonus. Um, yeah, and then of course the slow scales up to 50% slow, which I don't think it's so weird to think about this champion because like I feel like all her abilities just don't matter, and it's all about her passive and just
Well,
basic
yeah,
auto
yeah,
attacks.
it's true. All of her abilities don't matter. She's except for ulti, but we'll
All right,
get
okay,
there.
fair.
Um,
Old Q.
I'm not even gonna go over her old Q because it's literally her new Q combines her passive and her old Q. Her old Q is just the slow and the magic damage. So,
Was it a point and click? I think it was a point and click.
probably it says blast target enemy. It probably was.
Right. Okay,
It
that's
didn't do a
OP.
whole lot. It just did 60 plus 100% bonus AD and 60% AP with the slow
And
35 to 55. Really, it's the same fucking skill.
you want to talk about the
Her
same fucking skill?
right, her W, new one, active. Kayle and target allied champion are healed and gain bonus movement speed for 2 seconds.
Heal doesn't do shit.
If cast on a valid target or self-cast, Celestial Blessing will automatically target the closest allied champion in range, prioritizing the one with the lowest health.
I like that because I mean, especially on ARAM, my dumbass just hitting W. I'm like, oh, I don't feel like moving my
Yeah, I'm not,
cursor over my
right.
target.
Just give me somebody. Unless I'm trying to speed somebody up. That's the thing I do like is it heals two people at once.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Whereas before, bless the target allied so before it was only one heal.
yeah, but before, you also got more healing out of it,
Sure,
and I think the movement speed was actually less too.
it
So now
was.
you get 60 to 180 plus 30% AP for healing. It used to be 60 to 240 plus 45% healing.
Yeah, it
And
was a
that's
little.
again when she built more AP, so it was a lot better. Not only is it 60 health better in the final upgrade, but it's also an extra 15% AP better, and you used to build just more AP anyways. Um, so that was definitely better. But again, that wasn't shared. It was only to one champion, so it makes sense that it should be better, right? The total overall healing now, I think, is actually stronger if you were to add everything together.
Right.
The bonus movement speed currently is 24 to 40%, plus 8% per 100 AP. It used to be 18 to 30%, plus 7% per 100 AP. So you definitely move faster now.
So basically, I feel like this item is just more for the move speed buff rather
Yeah, oh
than
yeah.
the healing.
Yeah, and it's the same skill. I'm not even gonna spend any more time on that because the E is more interesting.
Moving down to her E, which I want to start with the old E because this was like for 10 seconds she became ranged. Like I said, she was melee,
Right.
but you hit E for 10 seconds, and if you built enough cooldown reduction back then, it literally you could have it up by the time the cooldown was refreshed, it would still be active. Like you could just
Pretty
keep
much.
perma spamming it. Um 45 mana, okay.
Yeah,
And of
because
course,
cooldown was 18 to 14 scaling based on level of the skill. So yeah, if you had enough CDR, even if you had 50% or 40% CDR, that's what, 8 seconds. So it'd be back up before it was over,
well, I
right?
mean, once you get to 14,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
well,
Yeah,
you max it first anyway, so it didn't matter. Yeah.
exactly. Because you
Um
max it first for the passive, right? The on hit magic damage that she gets from it.
let's say I mean, it's just her bread and butter.
Yep.
It used to fucking do AoE magic damage on like splash
Yep.
and increase bonus magic damage to her main target. Wow. That's a lot of that was super loaded. And
Yeah.
again, just building Nashor's Tooth, which is already giving you the on hit and the Lich Bane, you just fucking beat the shit out of people.
Yep.
God, I'm having her old auto attack animation was so bad. I keep thinking about that, and yeah, Aetherwing was so like smooth.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's
Yeah.
look at her new E.
It's basically the same. It's slightly different, but like for the most part, it's basically the same.
Yeah, what tell us?
Yeah, I'll go for it. The passive still deals bonus magic damage on hit. Um, because of her own regular passive, I don't know how to put that, but because of Divine Ascent, her passive ability, the base damage is equal to the effect of this base damage. So it sounds really weird, but basically the base damages are the same. So if you didn't have any items, they do the same. The active, and this is really what makes levels 1 through 5 not quite as bad. And trust me, it's still bad. It just makes it not quite as bad. um, Kayle kindles her blade, empowering her next basic attack within 6 seconds to have an uncancelable windup and deal additional bonus magic damage on hit that is capped at 400 against monsters. If Kayle is not yet arisen, which is level 6, this attack becomes ranged with 525 range. It is worth noting the bonus magic damage scales 8 to 12% plus 2% per 100 AP of the opponent's missing health. So
I feel like
an execute
people
style.
underestimate that because
Yes.
you get executed by, and you're gonna level this ability up first,
Right.
and 12% plus 2%. Again, you're gonna probably be building a lot of AP. That's good.
And once she hits level 11, I believe, is when she becomes a flame. The attack explodes upon the target, dealing its damage to surrounding enemies and applying on-hit effects. And it is affected by critical strike modifiers.
So you can crit with that.
You can crit, and also the skill is a basic attack reset.
Beautiful. Love, and I believe that can be used on turrets. I think it consumes it.
Yes.
The most OP thing about this does not cost mana.
Nope, free.
So I mean, they have to give her something, right? For
She
levels
needs-
1 through
yeah.
5.
She needs something there.
She needs a little bit of help.
She also she has a pretty piss poor mana pool, really.
True.
Her,
Yeah, if you spam your W early,
you're gonna rip through it. Her mana pool is
330.
There, yeah,
330
330,
like...
and then it only gains 50 innately through her entire. So she has a piss poor mana pool. So you have to give her something, right?
All right, moving on to the alt. And I don't know, what do you want to talk about the old one first? I mean, they're similar, but not.
The main part is the same. Kayle renders herself or a target ally invulnerable for a few seconds. It was 2, 2.5, and 3 seconds based on level. That was like a game changer. It still is when you play with like a Zillion. You have the invulnerability, and then you pop the Zilli alt or the Taric alt. She just pairs really well with champions that want to keep people alive because she can keep herself alive for that much longer. But like if you're playing with Taric, you guys cast alt at the same time in order for her to stay invulnerable. Otherwise, she'll become vulnerable and probably die before his alt lands. But yeah, I mean, that was it. Pretty basic, but pretty OP because right when you thought you had her on the ropes, you turn around and whoop your ass with her empowered E while she takes no damage, and you're like, I just got baited.
That was the big thing, is because obviously new Kayle ult does damage, but you cannot attack whenever you're casting it. Like even if you're throwing it on someone else,
yep,
you do whatever animation she fucking does. But old Kayle, you could just R yourself, or if people don't know, if you hit alt and whatever your abilities like a shield, it will cast it on yourself. So if you cast R on yourself, you could still attack for the 2.5, 3 seconds. But now she makes herself invulnerable, and after a again silly little animation, she surrounds herself in like swords or whatever. Yeah, conjuring swords of flame. Yeah. And then it does AoE damage around her.
Okay, which the swords, just a quick little side note, the swords in this skill remind me of, what was that card in Yu-Gi-Oh with the fucking swords that you couldn't attack?
Oh, Swords of Revealing Light?
Yes, that's exactly what they remind me of when they come down. I just think of Swords of Revealing Light every single time.
I didn't think about that. Okay, now I'm gonna
that's exactly what it looks like too. They're white swords.
Dog, this thing, I had no idea this thing does that much damage. This is big.
It does dumbass damage, dude. It doesn't feel like it does dumbass damage, but it does.
I don't think I've ever gotten a kill with the Kayle ult.
Right. Usually you're saving your own ass with it, or you're putting it on like
someone's gonna run in and just
you throw it on your Yasuo when he ults or something like that, just to give him extra damage boost.
So imagine, what about like a Diana?
Or that
Diana
too.
Zooms in, you are Diana, and she sucks them all in.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's disgusting.
No, she definitely has good teamwork capability, synergies, that's the word. She has good teamwork synergy because she's got this ult, she's got her W. She's like letting you get in to gank, right? She's casting her W on you, so you get that brief movement speed for like a second, so you can get in and gank. And then she casts the ulti on you or on herself or whatever it is. She's really easy to gank for. But
you gotta survive, dude. If you don't survive those first few levels, man.
Yep, that's it. You gotta just you're playing weak side. You pick Kayle, you're playing weak side. Play weak side. Don't try to be a powerhouse. Although I have seen people underestimate her damage early on and get fucking blasted right at the beginning of the game and give up first blood, and I just facepalm. Like, she's not weak. She's just harder to play, but she's not weak early, you know?
I mean, yeah, you just don't want to... Again, you want to play her into something that's not going to bully you.
Yeah, play her into Ornn or something, I don't know.
Ornn, yeah, exactly.
A tank who's actually going to build tank. But one of the things I do like about this champion in the current state of the game is that when she hits level 11, her picture on the map changes.
Oh yeah, her helmet comes off, right?
Yeah, you can see it. And it's cool. I think every skin's got a different look to it, so I thought that was a pretty cool little update that they did.
My favorite update is Aetherwing, where she's basically Judge Dredd.
Yeah,
and that's true. She'll love her fucking...
That is
Judgment, true. Death. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Also, one of the things I really like about it that I always forget about is her dance. She literally does the Elaine dance from Seinfeld.
Oh, with the... Okay, yeah.
It's so gross, but it's hilarious. And I think it's only funny because it reminds me of my dad. My dad always thought that show was hilarious, and he always would do the Elaine dance as a joke. And
you know,
I just, like, when I see her do it, I just picture my dad doing it. I'm like, oh my god.
The other thing I will say, I think it's her... Is the Control 1, is that the taunt, or is that the joke?
I think 2 is a joke and 1's a taunt.
Okay, her Control 1, she literally, her sword goes into the ground, and she sits down and crosses her legs, and it's literally a Dark Souls.
Yes.
The bonfire on her sword. Which is sick.
That is sick.
Shout out to Dark Souls fans. Yeah.
Just kidding.
And I think, shut up. I think that's it. I think we covered it. That's pretty good.
There wasn't much really between. I mean, Kayle had more changes than Jax, but like, she doesn't have that many changes. It's really all in her passive. Everything else is pretty much the same, or a combination of her old skills. So her identity stays the same. She still remains a tough champion to pilot early, and an extremely easy champion to pilot late if you can make it that far. I think in the current state of the game, they're moving a little too fast for you to bother even picking this champion right now.
So, guys, what do you think? Should we, for a poll, any ideas for a poll? I suggested for a question if anybody had any ideas for Jax ultimate change. Any ideas?
Yeah, I don't even have a good poll question, honestly, because these two champions are there's nothing to compare. I will tell you, in a fight with Jax over Kayle, who do you think wins?
Ooh, there you go. That's a good one. That's a good poll.
Level 18 Jax versus level 18 Kayle, full items.
Full items. I'm not gonna. I don't want to say who I think.
I don't even know who I think would win, but I like that idea.
Yeah. Okay. So who would win? Kayle or Jax? And then for the question will be, if you have a suggestion for a Jax ultimate rework, because just gaining bonus resistances is really boring.
It is extremely boring.
That's gonna do it. Guys, enjoy your weekend. Next week, we will be back with patch 12.7, which is looking pretty fat. It looks like there's a lot of changes coming.
And then next Friday, we'll be back with Master Yi and Kale's sister, Morganathan. I don't know.
All right, stop. We need to go. Guys, have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys. Be safe.